I cannot believe, Patty, that it is mid-October and we are getting ready to close down the campground in a few days.
Yeah, isn't that nuts?
It is nuts. Where has this camping season gone?
I don't know. It's like anything. It seems like it takes, like you're in it, but then all of a sudden it's poof.
Yeah, and then it's over. So I thought we might need to start talking about how we're going to winterize this big rig.
This big bad boy.
That's right. In this episode of Travels with Delaney.
The podcast.
Hey, everyone. My name's Patrick.
I'm Patty.
And Truman is licking me right now.
He's our little crazy cavalier right here.
Oh, my gosh, she's crazy. And Bess is sitting over on the theater seat.
She always sits over here.
It's like our audience for the show.
Hi, baby.
Are you in the audience, Bess?
Yeah.
So if you're new to our podcast, we're just a couple of 50-somethings that love RVing.
Teachers and
We're teachers, and we love RVing. We've been doing it for 19 years now, and we're on, I think, number 11 RV. So
something like that.
And we just come here and share what we can with you.
Yep.
And so
Jibber jabber.
we jibber jabber a lot, don't we?
Jibber jabber.
But
Yes.
I want to talk today about we're going to need to get this thing ready because we're not going to be using it again for about a month.
Right.
And so we need to do a little bit of winterization on it.
We do.
But before we do that, we have to do another exciting round of this or that.
Oh, man, I thought you forgot the way you started going on. I thought, I'm free as a bird.
I figured you thought that's what was going to happen. But
Like, it is like, as the teachers at school say, every day feels like it should be Friday because we had parent-teacher conferences this past Tuesday night until like 7:30. So
Right.
we're all dog-tired. And then every day you're like, it should be Friday. It should be Friday. It's not Friday. So I figured I got off the hook because my
nice
brain is
try.
a little mushy-mush.
Nice try.
Nice try. Yeah,
All right, babe. Let's get right into this.
Okay.
So we're at Disney World.
Ooh. Okay.
Which would you rather have for dinner tonight?
Oh, okay.
Would you rather have the smash burger from Steakhouse 71 over at the Contemporary Resort
Yummy.
with the waffle fries with Parmesan cheese?
Oh, they're so good.
Or do you want to go down to Chef Art Smith's for some fried chicken and macaroni and cheese?
And don't forget the Orange Crush or whatever it's called.
And you can have I feel like the Orange Crush gives Art Smith an unfair advantage, so that was not part of the package.
All right, so no, okay.
All right.
So
you
those
don't-
are tough. Those are my two faves.
I know, because the fried chicken at Art Smith's
so
is amazing.
good.
But that
Mac
burger,
and cheese, and it's just like
That
good,
burger.
comfort. And then the burger, that is so good.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is so hard. Well. I'm going to go with Art Smith for the win.
Art Smith for the win. The fried chicken and mac and cheese.
And I'm going to throw in an Orange Crush.
Is that only? I knew you were going to sneak your orange. For those of you that don't know, the Orange Crush or the Florida Crush or whatever they call it,
It's
it
so
is.
good.
They squeeze the orange juice fresh. I believe it has Tito's vodka in it and
I
some
think
other
cranberry.
stuff. I don't remember.
It
what
is
else.
just
It is-
so good.
I have to tell you, I think it might be one of the best mixed drinks I've ever had. In
It
terms
is
of,
so good.
yeah, it is very
It makes
good.
you happy.
Everything at Chef Art Smith's is
It's
amazing.
so good.
So-
Yes.
And we will be there in a few months.
Yep.
And so I'm pretty sure we'll definitely be at Art Smith's.
Yes.
I can't.
And we can get the burger too. That's a good
we
place
can stop
too.
over to the Contemporary one night and or daytime and have the burger. And here's a little tip. Not that this episode's about Disney, but if you go to Steakhouse 71,
Yes.
you can sit at the bar and get the smash burger. I think it's a smash burger.
I think that's what
it's
they
the
call
only
it.
burger.
Mhm.
But during the day, it's on the lunch menu in
Yep.
the restaurant.
Right.
But if you go into the restaurant at night, it won't be on the menu. But if you ask your server, they'll let you have it because the fact that it's on the bar menu
It is
all day long. So
good.
it is a very-
my gosh.
in my opinion, I haven't tried every burger at Disney,
No.
but of all the burgers we've ever tried at Disney, it is head and shoulders above the rest.
It is so yummy.
Yeah.
It is just, I can taste it right now. It's
Yeah, I
so
know. It
good.
doesn't help that it's like
Dinner time.
dinner time and we haven't ate yet. So, all right, well,
Yeah.
let's get
That was
into.
hard.
I know.
Ugh.
Let's get into today's topic
right.
because we really need to talk about this.
We need to figure this out.
Right. And I
Yeah.
know a lot of you are going to say, well, Patrick, I thought you guys winter camped. Why
Yeah,
are you
but this
winterizing?
well, we winterize because it gets cold in Indiana.
So even though we're going to use it, and we have some trips coming up,
Yeah.
we're gonna have our annual Thanksgiving trip
fun trip
with Abe and Jim that it's a tradition. It's
Yep.
now year 3, I believe.
Yep.
So that makes it a
That's a little
tradition.
fun trip we do with those
So
guys.
Thanksgiving weekend.
Yep.
And then Christmas we'll go to Florida with it.
Correct.
And then hopefully in February we'll do our annual trip over to Amish country in Ohio, where we meet up with our friends Mark and Karen and Sean and Sue and maybe Jim and Abe. And you never know who's going to come to that.
That one's all weather depending.
And that's weather dependent, obviously, for us because it's about a 4-hour drive. And
yeah.
I'm not going to haul a 33-foot fifth wheel in ice and snow.
No,
so. But anyway,
no
we do have to winterize multiple times typically.
Yes.
And I'm not even like from now till Thanksgiving, I'm probably not going to quote winterize.
We'll watch the weather.
We'll watch the weather. But
if it gets uber cold, like it did that one year in December,
right,
then we'll have to do something. But we don't want things to break.
But we do need to. I think when people think of winterization of their RV, they always think of the water system.
Yep. That's where my mind goes.
You know, I guess the two big ways to do it is to blow out your lines,
right,
where you use compressed air and you force the water out.
Correct.
And the theory is if you get all the water out, there's nothing to freeze.
Didn't Mikey Bennett teach you that method?
Yeah.
When we were up at Collins Bay.
Yep. And then the other option, which I just do because it's easy, is you use the pink antifreeze.
Right.
And you run that through your lines, and that way
put them in your traps, and you're
put
good.
it in your traps and that type of thing. So those are the two major methods, and I think that's what most people think of when you think of winterization.
Right.
It's like, oh, we got to get the pink fluid, or we got to blow out the lines.
Right.
But I would contend there is a lot more to putting your RV into storage for the winter than just worrying about the water systems.
Well, I can think of something right now.
All right.
My mind goes right to the bathroom with all my hair products and like things that might freeze up, like lotions and shampoos and stuff like that. So yeah, that stuff needs to come out because I don't want it to break and like burst or whatever.
You speak about that like you've had that happen before.
I have.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and it's one of those things because you're like, well, it's just shampoo or it's just whatever.
Yeah, but then it crystallizes and then it gets so cold sometimes that it just boom. You're done.
Yeah, so we always make sure we take out anything that is of liquid form, dish soap, hand soaps. We go ahead and take it out
that.
if we're not going to be using the trailer for long stretches of time in the winter because exactly. I remember the one year I left the olive oil.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was just weird. I ended up throwing it away. So I'd much rather take all that stuff out, use it at home so we don't waste it, and then we'll just we'll buy fresh when we hit the road again.
Right. And another thing I think of, and this one's just because when you're not in your trailer, you need to make sure you don't have little Ratatouille or Mickey Mouse showing up. And I would take all the food out.
Yes, and we're going to talk about that subject. So let's start with taking the food out.
All right.
I would say you should take out anything that might attract rodents.
Yep.
And so food is definitely a big one. So we just take everything out food-wise.
Yeah. Yep.
And if you're going to not use your RV in the winter, you're not going to leave power on or anything like that.
You got to do your refrigerator.
You're going to do your fridge freeze. And you want to make sure you leave those cracked. Now, most of these RV ones come with little plastic inserts.
To keep them open.
And that way you can keep them open.
Propped open.
And that way you don't develop mold and mildew.
Nasty stuff.
But, we have left, the refrigerator and freezer on before because we normally would take this home and plug it in and that type of thing. So we haven't always emptied our refrigerator freezer. Now, this year,
we probably will.
We probably will
because we're not taking it home.
We're not going to take it home. We're actually going to leave it here.
It's so big
at Happy Acres Campground, and then we'll just come get it when we need it.
Right.
With this one being 33 feet, I struggled. I don't want to say I struggled, but it was not necessarily
a little more of a challenge.
A little more of a challenge with the last fifth wheel, and that was 27 feet.
Right.
And now you add another 6 feet on it. With our driveway, with that slope,
this thing has never been to the cabin.
Yeah, and this is a heavier RV, and I have to back up the driveway.
And poor Indy, that's the truck.
So yeah, so I don't know yet if we're going to leave the refrigerator freezer on or not, but we'll probably just empty it
I'm
out.
thinking we'll just take stuff out.
Yeah, because the thing is, when we go to our Thanksgiving tradition trip,
we don't do a lot of cooking.
we eat out. We don't want, yeah.
I mean, we'll have snackies.
Yeah, we'll take some snacks and some yogurt for breakfast.
Some waters and stuff like that, but we're not going to take all the food that's right in there now.
No, that's half the fun of that trip is going out to eat with Jim and Abe.
That's part of the fun. Yeah.
And then in Florida, we'll just a lot of times we'll throw a few things in
but then
for
we
the
go
trip
to the
down
grocery when we
get
there.
there. Yeah,
because we get things we want.
Because we get to go to Publix.
Well, because you're always looking for your Tillamook. Is it Tillamook? We're looking for the yogurt.
Yes, it is Tillamook. No,
or is it Cabot?
It's Cabot. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it's the Cabot. Is that like a 10 or 15% fat?
Oh
my God,
like
it's like dessert.
It's not. It's not a health. It's like a dessert.
Right. So anyway,
so good.
But I will tell you this: there was one time when my sister and brother-in-law thought they had all the food out of their RV.
Yeah.
They were seasonals.
Yeah.
Not here at Happy Acres,
no.
obviously. But they did not find a bag of candy that was left over from the Halloween trick-or-treating thing at the campground.
Yeah.
And mice ended up getting into that, and it attracted them. So that's why we go through every cabinet. Now we leave a lot of things in the cabinet. We're gonna leave our dishes and our pots and pans and our linens and things like that.
I usually pack up the linen. Like we have these
parklas,
they're called, that you get from IKEA, and then they'll be all washed or clean, and then we'll put them in there so they don't get dusty, dirty, or whatever. If they sometimes flies, you find little bugs that get in, but I want to keep that stuff.
And for those of you
clean.
wondering, like, what are you talking about? A parklet? That's the name of the product. It's a plastic bag with a big zipper on the top. It works great for clothes or bedding, and they're cheap. I think they're like $2 or $3 a piece.
I love them.
We own a bunch of them. But if you go to IKEA, you just ask them, where do I find the Parkla? PARKLA.
And then even this summer we found some IKEA bags that zip up.
Yeah.
That like their grocery bags or the store bags.
They're the big IKEA blue bags,
but they zip.
But these actually have a top that zip up.
Ah, they're so nice.
Yeah,
so
those
are
nice.
Using those too for stuff.
So we do leave stuff in here, but you definitely, any kind of food, anything that's going to freeze, we take out. And then that will help to not attract rodents. However,
we also do other things,
We do other things because those pesky little fellas.
They're like ninjas around here.
Yeah. So, number one, we need to get under the RV and look for any openings. Now, mice can squeeze through the smallest of spaces. So, you really want to look. And so, if you see any openings, what I will end up doing is most likely either using underbelly tape, which is a special tape that RV manufacturers use to tape up your underbelly.
Right.
I actually have some of that Myron from Landstar RV gave me to use.
Right.
Or if that won't work, then I'll just use like the spray foam.
Right.
And try to fill in any openings with the spray foam. The nice thing about that is if you ever need to get back into that area, you can dig that stuff out.
Right, and you've already put steel wool.
So inside, So, and this is something I would recommend everybody look at.
We did it right away.
Get under your kitchen sink area, also in your bathroom where the sink is. They tend to cut these really big holes
for
to
your
run.
Tubing.
Yeah, for your water lines and things like that. And so we will put steel wool in to fill that because mice typically don't like steel wool.
Right.
And it'll kind of plug that hole, and something that what they start gnawing on, they're like, ugh. And
how's that again?
Yeah. So at least that's how I envision them.
Not like,
Yeah.
And then also, we got last year an idea. I don't know where we found it, but farmers use it around here. They're little pouches called, is it Grandpa Gus's?
Oh, the pouches,
The pouches.
Yeah, so I think they're called Grandpa Gus's, and think of it as almost like essential oils in a pouch.
Yep.
And you just lay them down, and they do recommend, I think you change them every 30 to 45 days. So we buy a big pouch where you get a bunch of them, and we just lay them around. What I like about them,
they smell good.
They smell really good. The alternative is people who put down mothballs outside under their RVs, and they stink up the whole campground with mothballs.
That smell can come into your rig too.
Then it can come into your rig.
We also like around here, I don't know if it's in other places, it might be, but it's called ugly fruit around here. but it's some hedge apples.
Hedge apples.
And they are really ugly to look at, but they are good for like helping spiders for some reason. Don't like them, the smell, and then also mice. So those you don't put in your rig because they're real sticky. I've heard if they, it's kind of like it's an apple, the fruit, when they start to rot, but you put them outside underneath your rig and around places like your sheds and whatnot, and it helps also. They don't like it either. So
yeah, and I think Bess is agreeing. If you're hearing barking, that is Bess. I have no clue what she's barking about at this point. She's looking at me like, "Did you say my name?"
Look at that face.
She said, "What you talking about, Willis?"
She's giving me the look like, "Be
she
quiet."
Is. But no, last year, initially when we took the RV home, within about the first week, I found signs of
ratatouille.
Yeah. And so I ended up, number one, because I had not done this yet, I ended up crawling under the rig and did find a couple openings that needed to be filled. And then number two, I came inside because I had not done the steel wall. And then we went and we had the hedge apples.
It's like on a gravel road. There's
right.
They're trees that farmers years ago put, at least in our area, along their fields.
Yep.
And they fall down on the ground and they just are there.
Yeah, people are just going to smash them anyway.
Farmers don't care.
So we go get some, and we just lay those under the RV. But then we found that Grandpa Gus has put it in. But after that first time, never had another issue the rest of the winter.
Because we even use the Grandpa Gus's like in our garage.
Yep, I put Grandpa Gus's pouches in our garage.
We live in a wooded area, and those little guys want to get in there. So
and I've heard some people swear by them. I've heard other people say, "Oh, I tried them; they didn't work."
They work for us.
For us, I don't know. It was either me sealing up everything, hedge apples, and honestly, the hedge apples I don't think were the answer because by January they were like
destroyed.
Because
they had rotted.
And so I truly believe the Grandpa Gus's did a pretty good job. The other thing is, and I know a lot of people will disagree with me on this, and that's fine because everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But I do put out bait.
We do.
In here, I put a couple. And I know a lot of people say, well, if you do that and then they die in there, it's going to stink. I get that. I would much rather try to get rid of a little stink than try to replace a bunch of wiring
that it
chewed up. So
I will holes in your cabinet or whatever.
Yeah, because I don't know how many of you know this, but mice can be very destructive.
Your parents had a hole in their RV.
Actually, ate wood.
Yep.
It was a thick piece of wood. It was like a grate for ventilation for their electrical system.
Destroyed a big hole.
And if you remember Angie and Darren, my sister and brother-in-law, their camper with the candy, they had chewed through some. Now it wasn't thick wood; it was more like a wood panel type thing.
It went through that.
Yeah. So I'll deal with if we get the stench of a dead mouse.
Right.
I'll deal with that, but. I just prefer because I know that way it'll take care of it. I mean, the other option you could do is you could use traps,
right?
And that way, but again, everybody's entitled to their own. Yeah. And so, and then what we will do is obviously we will bring our slide outs in.
We do,
and we actually leave ours plugged in.
Right.
I know not everybody does because depending on where you're at but we do leave ours plugged in, and that way we can keep our batteries charged and
happy.
Yeah. So, and that's basically what we need to do, I think. I'm looking around the RV here thinking, what else do we need to do?
There's the little things, this is a new rig for us, like my little decorative little plants that I got from IKEA. They're really tiny, and I use the tacky. I haven't tackied them down.
Right. So you're either going to have to
put them away or get the tacky out, and I have tacky here to do that. And we just got to figure out, because we haven't traveled with this since June. And we've accumulated a few more things, like to make it homey and workable. Right. And I just got to figure out, where, and it'll be easy. We're good at that, figuring out where to put things so that they don't fly around.
Yeah, so we'll probably get this basically ready to travel.
And then go back to the cabin, and then we're ready to travel.
Yep, all we have to do is hitch up. It's ready to go. I unplug it, put the cable away, and then we'll
just have our clothes and medicine, and off we go.
As soon as Thanksgiving lunch is over, we'll come over, hitch up, and head down to Columbus and hang out with
fun.
Jim and Abe.
Yeah.
So Jim and I usually partake in some adult beverages.
Well, Mr. Abe and I need to. He likes Starbucks.
I know. So Jim and I always make sure you guys get your Starbucks
you guys can
on
do
the
your
on
bourbons
Friday.
and we can do our Starbucks.
Yeah, it's kind of become a tradition. We go to IKEA on Friday.
And they like thrifting, so
they like thrifting, so
yeah. And there's IKEA there.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Right. Now, I will say a few other points here as we wrap up. Our neighbors, for instance, here at Happy Acres,
yes,
they cover their trailer.
They do. Some people do.
Right.
We've never have.
We never have. In all of the years, 19 years of RVing, I have never bought a cover.
Even at our other place, some people did, some people didn't. Some people had their feelings of why or why not.
Yep.
Because some people say, well, you put that on there, it's going to contain moisture. And then some say, well, if you don't put it on there, it's going to get, the harsh winter.
Yeah.
So you just...
But with us, because we are going to be using it periodically, it would just be silly to try to cover, especially this big thing.
Big, good gravy. This is like a big old whale. That's the name. It should have been.
The big old whale. It's not as big as some RVs,
yeah,
but
not
it's
as
big
as some of them.
It's not even the largest RV we've ever owned, Patty.
Oh, it's not.
No,
you're right. The Cougar was bigger.
The Cougar fifth wheel that we had way back when was 35 feet.
Yeah.
This one's only 33.
Oh, it's close. It's a little brother.
It's very close. So anyway, so I just wanted to mention that there are some people who will cover their RVs.
Yeah.
Another thing is, years ago, we did not have our trailer plugged in, and we had lead-acid batteries.
Right.
So I would actually disconnect the batteries, take them back to the house, and then once a month I would put them on a little trickle charger.
Mm-hmm.
The great thing about lithium is if you don't want to leave them in your RV for the winter, you can just unplug them and then take them home, make sure they're fully charged, and then lithiums will hold their charge all winter. You don't have to be charging them every month. Bring them back out, put them on. You're good to go.
You're good to go.
But we won't be doing that. We'll be leaving our two 300 amp hour Epoch batteries. Thank you to Epoch for sending us those batteries to try out. We'll be leaving those right in here because those Epoch batteries, Patty, they have built-in heaters and low-temp shutoff protection.
Oh, I feel like you're Tim the Tool Man.
I know. I am in love with my new batteries.
That's right.
And for those of you wondering, like, oh, no, you got rid of the lie times. What was wrong with them?
Nothing
wrong with them. And they have been donated to another RVer, none other than Colonel Woody.
Colonel Woody.
Yep, my uncle.
And Aunt Priscilla. They're going to use them.
Yep, Myron came over, installed the lie times into their rig, so they now have 600 amp hours of lie time, so they can now stay at Harvest Toast and Cracker Barrels, and he can run his CPAP machine all night. They can make coffee in the morning, use the hairdryer just like us.
Everything's good.
Myron did a great job hooking up a Victron system just like ours for them.
Yep.
And so, yeah, if you're ever in Northeast Indiana and you need RV repairs or you want to do some upgrades, Landstar RV, I'll leave a link to him. You can call or text him, and he will get back to you.
And he's good.
I don't know how many things have I just promoted there.
A lot.
I know. The thing is, I only promote our friends and businesses that we truly believe in and utilize.
Absolutely.
And so, you won't hear me promoting goofy stuff like coolers that are backpacks and third-party cell carriers that aren't actually, whatever. I just don't do any of that stuff.
That's blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, Patty,
I think that's a wrap.
I think we've got a good idea of what we need to get done here in about a week and a half.
Now I'm thinking it's a little overwhelming.
I know, but I think we're good. We've got our checklist built, and hopefully that helps some of you that are listening to us and maybe get you thinking. And maybe you've already winterized. Some people have already.
So depends on where you live and what you do.
And some of you never winterize because you live in nice warm temperatures year-round.
I am jelly.
I know.
Yeah.
A huge shout out to our good friend and our editor-producer, Mr. Jim Kuzman.
Thank you, Jim.
Who always makes us sound really good as long as I don't delete the audio. So, and even when I do delete the audio, he
makes a miracle happen.
He makes miracles happen. So thank you, Jim. Thank you to all of you for listening. And until next time, we'll see you.
On down the road.
Bye.
Travels with Delaney. We'll see you on down the road.